Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope you are all doing well and still coping with all the current challenges. My reading today was called Emotional Intelligence, the Three Things Every Leader Needs to Know for Leading Remote Teams. It's by Chris Westfall. He's a contributor for Forbes. I felt this article was especially poignant considering the current situation with coronavirus and how we've all had to adapt. Today, I'm going to briefly talk about the current impact and concerns of remote workers. Then I'm going to talk about the article. I'm going to give you 3 tips for leading remote teams. And then lastly, I'm going to end on the main takeaway. And of course, I'm going to give you a very applicable inspirational quote. So we've all felt the impact and kind of faced these new challenges in dealing with COVID-19. According to the World Economic Forum, these are the top concerns for remote workers. Being able to collaborate and communicate with coworkers and team members, loneliness and a feeling of isolation, and being able to unplug after work and really separate the work and home environment. But also, from the World Economic Forum, these are the top concerns for managers for leading remote teams. Reduced team cohesiveness, reduced focus and productivity, and employees overworking. As you can see, managers and remote workers kind of share similar concerns. So what are some tips for leading remote teams that might address some of those concerns? So Chris Westfall lays out these 3 tips for leading remote teams. And the very first one is to remember that we're all kind of in this grieving process. And like the pandemic has taken something from us all. And that we actually kind of share in a mutual disappointment in some form or fashion around this new normal. I try to keep in the back of my head that, as Don Draper once said, that change is neither good nor bad, it just is. But honestly, it's hard not to focus on just the bad. One tool to help with this process is by letting your team know that they're being heard. A simple acknowledgement of concerns can lead to building a bridge between employees and management, like a mutual understanding. In the military, we used to call it, we're all in the suck together. So the second tip is to avoid the time hole. So many of us now spend considerable time in one dedicated space. A lot of us call it our Zoom room. It's a new normal, but it's a space where we spend most of our time, and it can actually contribute to the overwhelming feelings of loneliness and isolation. Top organizations have kind of turned into a format of doing like micro meetings, 15-minute bursts to break up the time that's spent staring at this screen, and seeking out other communication methods that are outside of video calls, just to break up that kind of monotony and that just bored feeling. And the third tip, which is my absolute favorite, it's to innovate empathy. So go beyond empathy and directly ask your teams what they need and innovate solutions. So one thing that I am very thankful for is that I'm in an academic environment right now, during this pandemic, where I can hone some of these skills. This is a new normal for me, but I can hone my remote work to be just as effective as if I was working in an office, sometimes even more effective. I know that now my new workspace makes the best coffee, and it always plays my favorite music. Empathy is one of the most valuable skills that you can develop as a leader. It helps to build perspective, and it can help you gauge the true capability of your teams and your team members. If you can empathize, you can communicate and motivate. Okay, so I try to end all of my presentations with a quote. It's my way to overcome some of the pressures that I feel when I speak in public. This time, my ending quote is the main takeaway of this article. It's just 4 words, but it's 4 words that can build bridges with our teams, can get us away from isolation, and innovate empathy. Keep them fresh in your mind, and remember to repeat them to others. You are not alone. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe.